Okay, thank you. I have been asked, this has been my ask, and it's my greatest pleasure to say a few words of welcome. Apart from our own community, we are honoured to have with us many invited guests from a number of different organisations and faiths. It's impossible for me to mention every guest by name, so please forgive me if I do not mention your name. We have with us this afternoon the Mayor of Redbridge, Beverly Brewer, and her husband David. Also, we have Councillor Grace Williams, the leader of the Woodford Forest Council, and other local councillors and representatives of the Borough of Redbridge. We have many Rebonin and Robertson and representatives from all our local synagogues, near and farther afield, including Diane L.Y. Raskin of the Lubavitch, UK. We're honoured to have Sir Ephraim Mervis, our Chief Rabbi, when he gets here, of course, accompanied by the newly elected President of the United Synagogue, Saul Taylor. We're also honoured to have President Michael Goldstein, the outgoing President. They will be arriving later as they're coming from another earlier engagement. We have a number of representatives from the United Synagogue. Just for those who are unaware, the United Synagogue is the umbrella organisation to which we are members of. I'm also pleased to welcome chaplains from Whit's Cross Hospital. Wherever they are. The noisy lot over there somewhere. We're also pleased to welcome here Imam Dr. Mohammed Farhi and other representatives. He's stuck in traffic. Okay. And other representatives of South Woodford Mosque. I would also like to mention the Reverends Haley Ace and Tim Gutman of the Lee Valley Church and the Christian Action Against Anti-Semitism. I gather they'll be here later on as well, because they're in the same place, I believe, where the Chief Rabbi is. Yeah, they are, yes. This Rabbi you gave me. And not forgetting, although I haven't seen him, because he was on the list as well, P.C. Shazmir, our Faith and Community Liaison Officer. Is he here? No? Okay, another one that's not on the list. Before I go, I'm going to introduce to you, who again, some of you know, Mr. Robin Jacobs, who will give us a brief history of our community celebrating, while you're all here, of course, you're celebrating 10 years of its existence, and of course, having our Rabbi and Robertson family here for 10 years as well. That's all you're going to get from me. So after Robin speaking and the Rabbi, eat, drink, and have a wonderful time. Thank you.
Rabbi Robertson Wollenberg, Mayor of Redbridge, Councillor Beverly Brewer, local councillor, local faith leaders, Rabbonim, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be addressing you this afternoon, and my brief was a brief and about Woodford Forest Synagogue since the amalgamation back in February 2015. If I can just reflect for a moment about the initial discussions between the two old communities, the Walden Forest Hebrew congregation from Wollenberg and Woodford Synagogue, facilitated by the United Synagogue. Most, if not all, the meetings were held in secret, mainly at the Marriott Hotel in Walden Abbey. The only thing was, the United Synagogue were not as clever as they thought they were. Because while we were going into our meeting, we met members of Newbury Park Synagogue and Claymore Synagogue, also having their top secret amalgamation meetings. It was quite amusing at the time, and of course we knew them all well. I would like to say that all the discussions we had were very amicable, and the two groups really gelled, which I think is why the amalgamation went extremely smoothly. At the time, we decided that the incumbent chairs of both synagogues, together with the community councils of both communities, would continue to jointly run the community, and we would hold our first AGM in May 2016, giving us about 15 months for things to settle down. We owe an enormous amount of gratitude and thanks to both Sally Kaplan and Mark Phillips for seeing us through these difficult first few months. We had joint chairs, joint FRs, joint wardens, etc. But this seemed to help us manage things really well until we settled down and we could have our elections with the new community, knowing one another pretty well. During their chairmanship period, we finished building the new rabbi's house, built the new catering kitchen at the back of the hall, and of course recruited Rabbi Mordechai and Rebbetzin Liber Wollenberg. In fact, that was a really crucial year trying to get the two old communities to think of Woodford Forest rather than their old community. I know that I found it really difficult at the beginning and used to count the old boundary road faces in Shore on Shabbat morning, wondering whether or not we'd made the correct decision. However, it wasn't long before I stopped counting because I felt very much at home at Woodford Forest. Since we had no rabbi for the first few months until we employed the Wollenbergs, we managed to cover the position with the help of Rabbi Yangler Singer, who lived in Chigwell, and if he wasn't available, Reverend Stuart Byers or Rabbi Benny Fleischer helped out. For our first Shabbat service, which was back in February, the United Synagogue sent us Rabbi Gideon Sylvester, who was here from Israel at the time. When we came to our first AGM in 2016, I was elected chairman, and we had a new executive team and council. At the first AGM, we reverted to one chairman, one vice chairman, and one financial representative. And the same team stayed in position for 9 years, until this year, in 2025, when we elected the new chairman in Martin Freeman, the new vice chairman in Howard Wise, and the new financial representative in Stuart Hertzberg. And so far, we've done a pretty fine job, I have to say. During those 9 years, we did major refurbishment of the synagogue itself, reducing the size of the bimah, adding the light boxes with stained glass windows, improving the lighting in the main hall, as well as modernising the men's and ladies' bathrooms and creating an accessible bathroom. We also created a new small milky kitchen, and there are still works that we would like to do, and hopefully we will get around to doing these in the next couple of years. We, of course, had to deal with COVID. And very quickly had to adapt to not seeing people in person for services, education programs, etc. And had to get used to using Zoom and other new ways of keeping in touch and communicating. During the 9-year period, we also took on a junior rabbi in Rebbetzin to work alongside the Wollenbergs. But after a short period, Rabbi Abrams moved on to be senior rabbi at Loughton Synagogue. And then we reconsidered our requirements and decided to recruit a part-time community development officer. We're currently on our 4th incumbent in this position. Also during this period, we have grown our community cares work, particularly since the COVID period, buying and delivering shopping to people who were told to isolate or are unable to do their own shopping. and we still shop and deliver weekly for a few housebound members. The community care work has increased so much that we've also recruited Rabbi Adam Hill on a part-time basis to assist the Wollenbergs with this work. Ever since Woodford Forest came into being, we ran our Tuesday Club for older members, which used to have 80 plus attendees each week until COVID. Since then, when Jewish Care Centre House also closed, Jewish Care have been using our building for their day centre and community programmes 4 days a week. And they've taken over our lunch. They will continue until they open their new Sugar and Ronson campus early summer next year, at which time we will relook at our own offerings to the community. Over the period, we strive to be the hub of the Rebbe community, hosted whole community events such as annual Salichot services, services on Tisha B'Av, special services when the events on 7th of October took place, and many other events. We're fortunate to have a group of volunteers within the community who cover a wide variety of jobs. A number helping community care work, phoning members over 80 on a regular basis, shopping and delivering and cassette parcels, phoning members who have your site or have recently been bereaved, or visiting members in hospital. With people help with DIY jobs, gardening, PR, ladies' group, strategic review, fundraising, birthday and anniversary cards, admin assistance, meet and greet and daily services. I'm sure I've missed some of the categories out, but last year we held a thank you brunch for our volunteers and we had a list of over 115 names. When looking forward, I see a very positive future for the community under the continual leadership of Rabbi Meredith Wollenberg. I've had the great pleasure of working very closely with both of them and have seen how hard-working, dedicated and innovative they have been. There have been occasions when they've worked hard to set up a programme and for one reason or another, it doesn't work out. They simply get up, brush themselves down, work out what went wrong and try again. We're extremely fortunate to have them as our leaders, and as Rabbi said yesterday in the shul, they are a team. They work together as a team. Both Rabbi Meredith and Wollenberg work over and above the job descriptions, and they, together with their whole fantastic family, are great assets and ambassadors for the community, and long should it continue to be the case. We wish Rabbi Wollenberg Mazel Tov on his upcoming 50th birthday, which we've also celebrated this weekend. And I wish the community Mazel Tov on reaching its 10th anniversary. I look forward to celebrating many more community highlights and anniversaries in the coming years, and with the Wollenbergs at the helm leaders. Thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. And before we finish this round of speeches, I'm going to hand over to Rabbi Wollenberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, apparently the rally is running late. We hope the Chief Rabbi will be with us by 5. After this, there will be a break with some more music from Rafi. Huge thank you to Rafi Sanford, who, despite having moved, really, his career has jumped in leaps and bounds. He's never forgotten us, that we knew him when he was just starting out. Really appreciate you being with us today and your music. Thank you. So welcome everyone. Baruch Shechianu Kimanu. We thank Hashem, we thank the Almighty for bringing us this very special moment. Very warm welcome to all of you, to rabbinic colleagues, to clergy. I'm delighted and very privileged to have me, Father Bird, from the chaplaincy at Whipps Cross, Dr. Fahim, our local imam. Thank you so much for being with us today, along with Madam Mayor and councillors and lay leaders, our dear family, my parents and my mother-in-law. We're delighted to have with us my sister, brother-in-law, family and dear friends, all, and of course, community members. And we also thank Joe Gross for being with us over Shabbos, our Chief Executive, for a very special Shabbos that we spent together. I will repeat the joke that I said Friday night, and I also said at my induction, I think it's worth repeating, about the mayor of Tel Aviv, who is walking one day with his wife, and somebody sort of whistles at her from a building site, and the mayor says, "Who was that, dear?" She says, "That was Avi. He's the guy I used to go out with." And the mayor says, "Darling, aren't you lucky you married me? Can you imagine? If you would have married him, you'd be a bricklayer's wife by now." She says, "No, darling. If I'd married him, he'd be the mayor of Tel Aviv right now." So, everything I do, I might be the public face of many things, but I couldn't do that with my wife. I did ask her if she wanted to speak, but she said I should. But it really is a team effort, a family effort as well. Now, today there is a rally against anti-Semitism going on. We've got our own rally against anti-Semitism going on here, because by standing proud as a community, a vibrant community, as proud Jews, that is the best way that we can stand against anti-Semitism. Our rally isn't on the streets, it's here in our shul, standing together with pride. So no disrespect to Gideon and Folter and the campaign against anti-Semitism, but the real campaign against anti-Semitism, of course, happens in our shuls, our communities, our families and our homes. Looking back on 10 years here and 20-something years in the rabbinate, I'm really delighted. It's so special to have, besides our dear family, my parents, who just celebrated their 56th wedding anniversary. That's once again. Example of commitment and family, and we thank them and my mother-in-law, my parents-in-law for their support in all that we do. I want to mention two very special people. One is Rabbi Fishel Cohen, who is my rabbi from university. I think it's fair to say that it's Fishel Esther's fault, probably, that I went into the rabbinate, inspired by their example. And also my dear friend, I'm reconnected with in recent years, Barney Nemko. You may not realise this, but he actually was one of the first people I met who really spoke with passion about leadership and education and Jewish values, and also had a profound impact on me in my student life and beyond. It's very special to have you and others who've been with us on this journey. We thank you, we thank all our lay leaders, all our volunteers, all those who have helped with the event today. 10 years is quite a long time. We've gone from being newcomers to feeling very much embedded in the community. We appreciate the warmth, the welcoming spirit of this community and this shul, and particularly the resilience. We've been through a lot together. We've been through a lockdown. We've had simchas. We've had sad occasions and many challenges. We were asked at our interview what we were looking for. We said to put down roots and to raise our children in a community. We've done just that, and we certainly have no regrets. In fact, the way that our children, particularly our family, has been welcomed and encouraged and made a part of things by so many in our community is something very special to us. We are very blessed to have wonderful lay leaders and congregants, something that not all rabbis are blessed to have. It's something we certainly don't take for granted. We thank Hashem for his blessings in bringing us to such a special and wonderful community. If you get a quote for moving house, they ask you how many bedrooms, and you say 4 bedrooms, and well, 10 years ago it was about £750, and then you fill in some details, how many clothes and how many books, and it goes up to about £5,000. We moved 300 boxes, and I think that was just the books here, and it's probably double, but we're certainly not planning to move them anytime soon. I want to just share what I said in shul yesterday, so apologies to those who are hearing it again. In yesterday's parsha, we read about a very difficult mitzvah, the Ben Soreh Moreh, the wayward child who we're told goes off the rails, and the Torah tells us eventually, if he doesn't pull up his socks and stop drinking and gambling and smoking and all the rest of it, he could actually even get the death penalty. Our rabbis in the Talmud tell us that nobody ever was put to death for this. But it's to give you, it's a deterrent, it's to give you some idea of how serious it is when you don't behave. But I don't want to mention that. I want to mention another aspect. The Torah tells us a very curious thing. When it talks about this child who is not listening to his parents, who's gone off the rails, his or her parents, the Torah says that he doesn't listen l'kol aviv or l'kol imo. He's not listening to his father's voice, and he's not listening to his mother's voice. Anyone who's been around will know that rabbis always tell you the Torah, the Bible, doesn't waste words. Should have just said he doesn't listen to his parents. Why does it say he doesn't listen to his father and he doesn't listen to his mother? So the commentators say, obviously the parents are not on the same page. Why is this child going off the rails? Why is there turmoil? Because the parents are not on the same page. If you're not on the same team, if you're not pulling in the same direction, your kids pick up on it. And I mentioned this in connection with teamwork, not just in our family, but in the wider community as well. In the 10 years we've been here, I can't think of a single time I've been in a shul meeting that there's been an argument or a controversy. We don't always agree on everything, but when we don't, it's always respectful and it's always done together. Why? Because nobody's in it just for the yichus or for the ego. Everybody wants what's best for the community. Everyone is pulling in the same direction. There's one exception, which is plastic fruit for the sukkah. Sorry, in joke there. Apart from the saga of the plastic fruit, there's never been an argument or a disagreement in a board meeting that hasn't been resolved in a respectful manner, because everybody is working towards the same goal. And that's a very special thing. You walk into shul, here you don't feel any tension or any kind of atmosphere other than just people who are happy to be together, warmth and camaraderie. It's a very special quality of our community. Robin went through the history. I'm not going to go through the history of the merger. I will just say, I mentioned at my induction, I'll say again, Joe quoted yesterday, that communities are not about buildings, they're about people. A dear friend of ours from Cardiff many years ago said that when he was growing up, he felt he was always going to sit in his father's seat. This is in the days of named seats, right? He was going to sit in his father's seat in shul. And then they knocked the shul down, they built a new shul. He said he was devastated. His dad's seat had disappeared. And then he realized, he said, you know what I realized? He said, my father's seat is wherever I sit. Right? There's no point in having empty buildings. Communities are about people. Took great courage for those who recognized the need to consolidate resources 10 years ago. And here we stand today as a vibrant community, as a hub of Jewish life in this area. We thank those who made those decisions. We thank those who built this community, who have led us over the past decade, and please God will lead us into the future. So it just remains for me to say our blessing to everyone that the next decade and beyond should be another 10 years of more growth, of peace and shared pride in our wonderful community. We're not just a shul, we're a family. We feel it. Friday night celebrated my birthday with nearly 100 members of our community, and it felt like celebrating with family. We stand tall and proud. We are the answer. We are the campaign against anti-Semitism. We are the answer to Jewish life and Jewish pride as one community and as one extended family. And peace God should continue on happy occasions for many years to come. I wish Mazel Tov to all of us. Thank you all for your good wishes, for your gifts, for your kindness and your cards. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. We will have some more speeches around 5 o'clock, but for now, I'm going to hand you back to the wonderful Rafi Sanford for some more music. Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I have your attention please. Firstly, if we could first have a quick huge round of applause for our honored guest, the Chief Rabbi, that is now with us. To mark this special occasion, and before going to formalities, I would like to some memories of people that have grown up in the shul in the last 10 years. And before we do that, a special montage musical start. But yes, for those that don't know me, I'm Josh Markovich. I've grown up in this very wonderful community. My great-grandparents, Bill Leslie Markovich, actually founded the shul, like some of the family members. My parents met in the shul. I went to... I went to Cheder in the shul. I did an Inseris for the first time in the shul. My brother did an Inseris for the first time in the shul. All of my siblings were bar mitzvah in the shul. And yeah, and the most recent addition is having been nurtured by Rabbi Wollenberg and this lovely, lovely warm community. I've grown up there, went to yeshiva, came back, found myself lovely Sarah as my wife, and now we live in the penthouse upstairs. Giving back to the community. We are community development workers. If you haven't had a chance to come and say hi, please pass over. We always want to chat to meet your children, to meet you, and to put on lovely events. Yeah, lovely to meet all of you.
family friend suggested that we speak to Rabbi Wollenberg. And after our very first chat, we knew he was the person we wanted to officiate our wedding. There was no one better to guide us as we took our first steps into married life.
From that moment, Rabbi and Reverend Wollenberg welcomed us into the community with open arms. What began as a wedding conversation quickly grew into a feeling of home. Friday night dinners and Shabbat lunches filled with laughter and family events where we were never just guests, we were part of something special. As our family grew, the shul was there for every milestone. Baby naming ceremonies for our 3 beautiful children, the first Shabbat back with a newborn, the smiles at the door, and the mazel tovs that made even ordinary weeks feel special.
Woodford Forest is a wonderful synagogue with Rabbi and Reverend Wollenberg bringing us all together. Thank you, guys.
Hello there, I'm Elliot Kay, I'm a member of the community. I just want to talk briefly about being part of this wonderful and welcoming community. Despite being members of this shul, me as a child since attending Taylor here over 40 years ago, and as a family since being married to my lovely wife Kay, somewhere at the back there, 24 years ago, we haven't always been regular attendees. Most years only turning up for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. With our children's bar and bar mitzvahs in 2019 and 2023, we started to appreciate the love and help that the Rabbi and Reverend Wollenberg and other community members extended to us, always accommodating our needs and never judging what we do or don't do. More recently, over the last couple of years, since my dad became very ill and sadly passed away last October, the offerings of help, comfort and support from you all during this difficult time has been heartwarming and touching, and has made this shul a warm, peaceful place that we like to be in most Shabbat mornings, where we feel loved and valued by all around us. In recent challenging times for British Jews, it's lovely to see the Woodford Forest community pull together, old and young, and continue to thrive and look out for one another. Thank you all.
Our joint roles at Whips Cross Hospital chaplains. I have the pleasure of working closely with Rabbi Wollenberg as joint chaplains of the Barts Hospital Trust based at Whips Cross Hospital. In this role, I see at first hand how skillfully and tactfully the Rabbi deals with people in very, very difficult situations and stressful situations. Not every situation at the hospital is for illness. I was honoured on 2 occasions to be the doula for Blimmer when she had Moishi and Shayna. Both times when in the delivery room with Blimmer, I could hear the rabbi outside the room going back and forth on his wheelie chair, waiting for somewhat impatiently for me to exit the delivery room and announce to him that he's a proud father once again. The rabbi has been a great inspiration to Graham and myself and to others within the community. I wish him a very happy 50th birthday and hope he stays with the shul for very many, many more years to come.
Part of the community. 10 years ago, our shul was blessed with a new rabbi for our new community when we joined the voluntary work. I have been part of the shul of once lived in Woodford, now Woodford Forest, for at least 16 years. Rabbi Wollenberg has revitalised our shul in so many ways in the last 10 years, and so much. With shearings, at-home talks, baby blessings, baking biscuits for the final days at Christmas, to lunch in the sukkah, barbecues and placed walks in the forest and many more. He is always easy to talk to and ask any questions that we may have. And now he is 50, and it's wonderful to be part of this celebration. Not only has he been part of this community, but he is part of our community. We have celebrated many of our family proud moments with the forest, and may we all continue to go from strength to strength. Happy birthday.
Memories from Jeffrey Bennett. It is impossible to select one highlight of my years as a member of Woodford Forest, and before that, Wanson and Woodford. My second mitzvah can coincide with the COVID. What to do? Well, the computer was the day saver. The rabbi organised it. It was so great to have a large family in Israel and my family here, all in their own countries. Also quite a few members of Woodford Forest. Sure, listened and watching it online. I really felt their presence. I also requested the down along to the traditional tune to finish with. My 3 sons for mitzvah, all here. My eldest son, Jeremy, was married to Natalie. What nutters. Also an honour that stays in my mind to be part of the committee to select our new rabbi and Leverton. It was a unanimous vote that proved to be the right decision, even better than we could have hoped for. Thank you to the 2 Woodford synagogues for so many wonderful friends we have here. Mazel tov to Rabbi Wollenberg on his 50th birthday coming up. Wishing you many more years and many more years as Rabbi of our community. I had a phone call just half an hour ago from Israel. We're off to Israel tomorrow week for my youngest grandson's wedding. He phoned me to ask me to do one of the shaved brothers, which reminded me of a story. So my wife told me not to tell this Being a truly banking husband. Well, there were these 2 friends who used to study. There were these 2 friends who used to study in school together. One day, Moshe said to Yankee, my son is getting married, and I want you to do one of the shaker brothers. He said, well, I'd love to, he said, but I'm not Jewish. He said, not Jewish, but we've been studying together all those years, how come? He said, well, I was passing the synagogue one day and I heard the lovely singing, so I thought I'd come in and I saw wonderful food and decided to join, not the shul, but just join, try and learn what Judaism is about. And that was wonderful, he said. I enjoyed that. He said, well, okay, he said, if you're not Jewish, but I still would like you to come to the wedding. He said, that's lovely, I will come to the wedding. He said, that's great, I will come. He said, tell me something, Jan. He said, I see you've got round your waist, you've got a chain with a key on it. He said, you're not Jewish, you don't need that. He said, Moshe, you've known me all these years. Would I trust an Arab?
I hope you're all having a good time. Running a little bit late, but not too bad. So I'd just like to welcome anyone who's come late because of the rally or anywhere else they had to be. So welcome. There's plenty of food and drink, so when we're finished here, keep going. It was a great honour for us today to welcome the Chief Rabbi. So without further ado, may I introduce Chief Rabbi Sir Ephraim Mervis, KPE.
Thank you very much, Martin. Good afternoon, everybody, and mazel tov on the very significant milestone we're celebrating today. First of all, thank you so much for your understanding and realizing that I would need to come late. As soon as my speech at the rally was over, we dashed out, and I came here as quickly as possible. I know that the President of the United Synagogue, Saul Taylor, I don't know, Saul, are you here yet? Wow. He also left early but hasn't yet arrived, so please God he'll come soon. And it's so lovely of you to show this understanding, and so lovely for me, and I feel so privileged to come into this very festive atmosphere. First of all, we're celebrating 10 glorious years of Woodford Forest. And I feel so blessed that as Chief Rabbi, I witnessed the commencement of the community, the induction of your wonderful Rabbi Revinson, and I've charted your progress. I recall putting up a mezuzah, celebrating various occasions with you, and this is indeed a glorious congregation. In Kabbalistic writings, the number 10 has special significance, and it represents extraordinary achievement. In the Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat, Psalm 92, which we chant on Friday nights and Shabbos mornings, we refer to Alei Asor Va'alei Navel, 10-stringed harp. What's the significance of a 10-stringed musical instrument? So the Zohar explains that in the world of music, music is the language of the soul. We are familiar with 8 notes in an octave. But in Messianic times, such will be the extraordinary spirituality of human beings, we will have 10 notes in what we'll then need to call a dectave. So therefore the number 10 represents the attainment of truly outstanding success. And that is the story of the past 10 years here at Woodford Forest. Congratulations to Martin Friedman, the other lay leaders during this time, your board, everybody responsible for taking this great community forward, and most of all to all of you, what a great, wonderful and incredible community this is. However, more than anyone, we need to pay tribute to your extraordinary and wonderful Rabbi and Revinson. Today we're celebrating 10 years of the Rabbi Revinson in your midst, and 50 years that Rabbi Wollenberg is celebrating. Now, I often compare the relationship between Rabbi Revinson and the community to a ship. And there are so many similarities. Most of all, shidduchim, good shidduchim, are very difficult to achieve. I recall hearing about an occasion when there was a very eligible young man, and his friend said to him, "How is it that you're not yet married? You're incredible, you're wonderful." So the young man said to his friend, "I'll tell you, The problem is the Friday nights. He said, what do you mean the Friday nights? He said, well, this is what repetitively happens. I take a girl out, she's lovely, everything goes brilliantly. The time comes for me to invite her to come home for a Friday night meal. She comes, it all goes beautifully, we say goodbye to her, and as soon as she leaves, my mother turns to me, she goes like this, and she says to me, not good enough for you, my boy. So then the friend said to him, I've got an idea for you. Why don't you find a young lady who's just like your mother? Surely it can't go wrong. And indeed, after 6 months, he was introduced to such a person. She looked a bit like his mother, she spoke like his mother, had some of the views to his mother. He dated her, it went brilliantly, and the time came for the big Friday night. Straight after the weekend, his friend bumped into him, and his friend said, no, how did it go? He said, it's all over. Friend said, what do you mean? He says, wait, all over. The friend said, didn't your mother like her? He said, my mother loved her. So he asked, what is the problem? And he answered, my father didn't like her. So this is what happens when you have just 2 people and an immediate family. Just a few people to please. But what happens when you've got hundreds of people in a community and everybody is particular and they have expectations? The fact that this shidduch here in Woodford Forest has been so extraordinary is a tribute to your incredible Rabbi Rebbetzin, and it's a tribute to all of you. Congratulations. The number 50 in Jewish tradition stands out as being the number that represents the Jubilee. The English term Jubilee comes from the Hebrew Yovel, which is presented to us in the Torah. And the term Yovel, according to some of our commentators, comes from the sounding of the shofar, very opposite at this time of the year. But there are others who explain that the term Yovel, from which Jubilee is taken, means to schlep. In the prophets we read, Yoviluha derachecha. May your paths enable you to take things from one place to the next place. That is why, in modern Hebrew, in Israel, if you see a sign on a van which says Hovalah, that means it's a removal stand. It's taking goods from one place to the next. The Hovil means to schlep. So therefore, the number 50 represents a situation in which you're going from point A to point B. This is representative of the progress of this community over the past 10 years. Your rabbi and your rebbetzin have schlepped you along, and they've taken you way to the highest levels of attainment, thanks to their inspiration, thanks to the fact that they are good friends of yours. They are the real thing, you can rely on them, and the results are here to be seen. It was so heartwarming for me to hear the testimonies of members of the community just a moment ago. And as Chief Rabbi, I feel so blessed to know that in Woodford Forest we have a most incredible rabbinic couple. So my blessing to you all is, and may our history till 120, I don't know how many of us will be around when the Shul celebrates its 120th anniversary, but may you continue to go literally, from strength to strength. And may you continue for many years to come to be blessed, to be served and inspired by your most wonderful rabbinic couple. And I'd like to add a word, and their rabbinic family, their children. What an incredible mishpacha this is. In fact, I think they're so good, maybe television would be interested in running a kind of a program about it. So the whole world can see how wonderful they are, through them how wonderful our Yiddishkeit is. Rabbi Rebbetzin, Wollenberg, God bless you. Thank you so much for the Kiddush Hashem that you perform. And may this great shidduch only go from strength to strength for many years in the future.
So at this point, I was going to ask Saul Taylor, US President, to say a few words. I've just been told he's about a minute away, so he's probably trying to park. So in the meantime, I just want to point out we've renamed both this hall and that hall. You're now sitting in the Forest Suite. The small hall is the Grove Suite. So if anyone wants to hire as a function room, be our guest. The other thing I've been reminded is that there is a guest book going round, so could everyone please make sure they put a few words in there before you go. Good timing, I've just been told Saul's arrived, so hot off his journey. Here we go. Welcome, Saul.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm first of all sorry I was a bit delayed. So I may have just been elected president, but as many of thank you, and thank this community for their support. Oh, sorry about this. Okay, thank you for your support. But it's certainly not my first visit to this community. I very much enjoy coming here. This community is certainly vibrant. There's an impressive calendar of programming. Someone mentioned to me a program we've got where you cook meals for a home. I can't remember the name of that one, but it's nearby here. You have an incredible rabbinic family. All 11 of you are involved in the community. And Rabbi, a very happy birthday. Is it today?
It's in 3 weeks' time.
3 weeks' time. Very happy birthday. And a happy 10th anniversary of your appointment here. You can be proud of the leaders you've nurtured here who have gone on to lead communities across the Jewish world. Personally, it's also where half of DS Cayman were born. I think I see Danny's father at the back. Apparently, there's you do get some free whiskey here. It's not something I know about. But we're here to celebrate 10 years of your merger. And mergers are something we try and encourage sometimes at the United Synagogue, but they are quite tricky to pull off. I want to pay tribute to your incredible leadership, who have through drive and determination, have made this succeed. I wish the Woodford Forest community many, many more years of success, and I'm already looking forward to my next visit. Thank you.
Thank you, Saul. Thank you for being with us. We were told if we invite you to speak, we get free whiskey. We were misinformed, but thank you. And we appreciate the efforts you, Chief Rabbi, made to, the same as you can't dance at 2 weddings. You come very close, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you. All it makes me do is to thank all of you, particularly those who have helped and those who are with us today. Huge thank you to the Chief Rabbi, not just for being here today, for all the support that he gives to us personally and to our community in the background, always on the end of the phone, always available to advise and to guide and to be a rabbi's rabbi. Huge thank you to Saul. Congratulations on your appointment. We look forward to working with you and the wider United Synagogue family. Huge thank you to everyone that has made the event possible today. I have to start, of course, with the Rebbetzin and my kids. You don't have to clap everyone at the long, just clap at the end. Beverly Steinberg, of course, Malcolm, our chairman of our committee, Howard and Karen, Martin and Lydia, Robin and Jeanette, Paula and John, Stuart, Neil Martin for his work with the committee and setting up the memories and the recollections, to the Brandman girls and the Wollenbergs who helped on the front desk, to Rafi Sachs, who set up this brilliant slideshow, which actually runs for 35 minutes, so if you actually watch all of it, it runs for 35 minutes, to all of our wonderful office staff and caretakers, to Josh and Sarah, to Adrian Lee, who set up the sound for us, who's at the rally, to Rafi, Sanford and Stephen for coming all the way from Edgware to provide music. We are very, very proud of the fact that I think Rafi led his first Friday night service in our shul. And after that, it's just been non-stop. We are very honoured with knowing how busy and popular you are, that you took the time to come back and to play for us today, along with our brilliant pianist Noah, close at home. Thank you, both of you, for your musical contributions. A huge thank you to Claudine and to Gary and Nathan for taking all these wonderful pictures today. To Carly, Dan and Russell running the photo booth. To all of the CST team and security team, the Chief Rabbi's team for keeping everyone safe. I think that's everyone. Have I missed anyone out? Haven't missed anyone out. So huge thank you everyone. We're going to give you another 20 minutes of music from Rafi and Noah. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please God, we should all celebrate such happy occasions together. There will be Mincha Marav in about 20 minutes. We will announce it. Thank you very much.